With the big trucks dominating this week's program, we thought it would be nice to remind you that car makers are still building new cars, like our long-term Honda S2000 Roadster. You know, I was knocked out by this car when Honda first introduced it about a year ago. We were even given a chance to tear around the racetrack in Calgary, and that's where the S2000 shines. I mean, we're talking a 2-liter double overhead cam VTEC engine pumping out 240 horsepower at 8,300 RPM with a 9,000 RPM red line. As someone once said, to enjoy the S2000, you gotta drive it like you stole it. Yet the S2000 is just as much fun cruising the streets. The 6-speed manual transmission is simply silky smooth. I do have a few pet peeves though, and we'll check those out on our next update.
Our Midas tip of the week concerns
with Graham Fletcher.
I'm sure you've seen, read or heard just how well Honda are doing on the Formula One circuit. Well, this car we're looking at this week, the 1991 Acura NSX, owes much of its refinement and engineering to the accomplishments Honda have achieved on the track.
Just wanted to have a look at it, no problem.
In shooting this car, it earned an incredible amount of interest.
Have a nice day, guys.
The NSX is built almost exclusively from aluminum. The hood, the fenders, the doors, most of the suspension, and yes, even the jack is made of aluminum. The result is a car that weighs a little over half that of the same car made of steel. This, coupled with an extraordinarily powerful engine, give the NSX a superb power-to-weight ratio. The drawback is that aluminum is fragile when compared to steel, and is far more difficult to work with. So make sure you keep your car away from the klutz who like to swing their doors out into yours. During the time I was testing the car, there was only one negative comment, and that was that the chrome tailpipe tips looked too cheap and too much like a Fiero. As with the MR2 and the ZR1, storage space is at a premium. The trunk will hold 2 small overnight bags, and you might just get your toothbrush in under the hood. Most of the space up front is occupied by a spare tyre. Should you have to use it, you must inflate it using the mini compressor found in the trunk. The battery is buried beneath the spare. Now this design makes boosting the car next to impossible. Some auxiliary booster posts would have been a real nice idea. You don't so much get in and out of the NSX, rather you clamber in and out. Once seated behind the wheel, however, you will find a high degree of luxury and a cockpit that is laid out in logical fashion. The seats are comfortable and provide the required lateral support thanks to some huge side bolsters. They manage to restrict upper body movement without being an undue hindrance. The dash features a complete set of analog instrumentations. This setup allows all information to be picked up at a glance, leaving the driver more time to concentrate on the road ahead. The driver is treated to a panoramic forward view thanks to the low hood line and large expansive glass. There is, however, a sizable blind spot at your left shoulder, and backing the car up takes some getting used to. At the heart of the NSX is a sweet 3-litre 24-valve double overhead cam engine that features some pretty tricky engineering. At peak RPM, the engine generates 270 stampeding horses and 210 pounds-feet of torque. The word VTEC you see embossed on the intake plenum is short for Honda's variable valve timing and lifter electronic control system. It is this system that gives the engine its punch. Through some innovative engineering, the valves are opened by one of 2 different cam lobes. Engine speed dictates which lobe is used. Without getting too technical, it has the desired effect. On the skid pad, it translates to 0 to 100 km/h times in just under 6 seconds. On the road, pop the clutch and pull the red line, and you blast off into oblivion watching the world pass by at highly illegal speeds. A world where lampposts begin to look like picket fences. The NSX gives new meaning to the term riding on rails. During the pylon test, the car zipped through the course in nothing short of breathtaking style. There is no body lean, and the mid-engine configuration gives a very favourable weight distribution. This limits understeer and makes the car very forgiving. The sophisticated multi-link suspension offers a surprisingly compliant ride given its firm nature and outstanding handling characteristics. The ZR-rated Yokohama tyres offer superb grip in the dry, but get a little skittish in the wet. The four-wheel ventilated disc brake setup features a 4-channel anti-lock brake system. Throw the anchor out and the car slows to rest in a scant 96 feet from 80 kilometers an hour. These figures are the best of the 52 or so vehicles we've reviewed in the past. The beauty of this system is that it works hand in hand with a superb traction control system that keeps the car honest.
Well, believe it or not, I do have a pet peeve. Firstly, I've got to give the car back. But seriously, when you have a car that looks like $1 million, as this one does, and you put these dreadful pop-up headlights on the front, they just destroy the entire effect. Now to the scoreboard for the ratings of the 1991 NSX.
The NSX is a quick car. The clock time is almost academic because unlike so many other exotics, anyone can drive the car and derive the most from it. For the record, we took just under 6 seconds to reach the 100k mark. Small wonder Honda has cleaned up on the Formula One circuit. This car is a dream to drive. It's obedient, forgiving, and yet exciting. Seldom do you find such an untemperamental combination. We recorded the shortest stopping distances yet with the NSX's anti-lock brakes. Unlike some ABS systems, the driver can actually achieve optimum stops without the system intervening, and so I award my first perfect 10. Unfortunately, we did not have the car for long enough to establish an accurate fuel economy figure, and so a guesstimate of around 20 miles per gallon is what you can expect. We recorded a fairly noisy 75 decibels during the test. The noise can be attributed to the close proximity of the engine and some very noisy tires, neither of which should really be of any serious concern. Safety abounds in this car. You'll find anti-lock brakes, traction control, and padded knee bolsters. Combine this with looks, panache, and a heck of a good engine, and you have perhaps the ultimate car for the dollar. A Ferrari it ain't, but it certainly gets darn close.